Hi everybody, and welcome to this video where I'm going to be showing you how I made some simple DIY shelving in my shed. This would work in a garage or any other outbuilding you've got where you need to build some sheds. Also, this is the second video in a two-part series where I actually cleaned the shed out and tanked it and fully waterproofed it. So if you want to see more about that, you can click on the link in the description to see how I tanked the shed with a tanking slurry. So previously you've just seen me there measuring up the shed, just getting a rough idea of the size that I wanted the shelves to be at. And right now I'm just out at the chop saw, and there's going to be 3 shelves on either side, and these are all going to be the same size. They're going to be 400mm by 1500mm. So basically I can cut all the timber at the same time, and that's what you can see me doing now. So there's going to be 12 lengths at around 1500. And then the 3 individual bits for each shelf to essentially build a simple ladder frame, and that will make the full shelf. So this is pretty straightforward. I mean, everything is exactly the same size, which makes it nice and easy. So obviously if you haven't got a chop saw, this can be done with a hand saw. The chop saw is just going to save you much more time. So once I had it all cut out, I took 2 of the longer lengths there. You can see I'm just marking the middle to get the exact center. And I've got a piece of timber for the end, either side, and one in the middle. And right now I'm just nailing it with my nail gun. So 2 nails in either small timber through the back of the other timber. Obviously, if you don't have a nail gun, you can just use screws. That's fine. Okay, so once I had all my shelves built, I went back into the shed, and I'm just going to mark the height of each shelf. So I worked that earlier on when you seen me measuring at the beginning of the video. I got a rough idea of how high they wanted to be, so I just divided them up. So each shelf has got an equal amount of space in between it. I also decided on this based on some of the larger items that wanted to be going on the shelves. So I had some gorilla tubs and some other items that were kind of the biggest things that I had in terms of height. So I made sure that they could all fit in the shelves. So once I'd figured that out, I just marked the top of each shelf frame and then just leveled it across here with my level, just to ensure that we're starting off from a nice level point on the back wall. So there you go. So I've got 3 lines there now marked out on the wall. And I also bought a cheap laser level. This is a Stanley laser level. I bought it on Amazon. It was quite cheap compared to some of the more expensive brands, but you know, it did a really good job. So I'll link to that in the description just in case you're interested. You can see here on the wall, it's quite clear. In fact, it was a little bit clearer in person. The tanking has dried quite light, so it's not the easiest thing to see it on, but it did quite a good job. Okay, so once I had that marked out and I was ready to start fixing the shelves, the first thing that I did was I just pre-drilled where I wanted to drill holes to fix through. And then once I'd done that, I lifted it up to the line on the back wall there, and this would be a lot easier if I had someone to help me, but I was doing it on my own. So I just used a tub of the tanking slurry to hold one end up, and then I just applied pressure with my left hand there just to hold it in place while I drilled the first hole. So I was just using a standard SDS bit here. I believe it was 8.5mm, and I used 4-inch 10s with brown plugs to fix into the wall. That gave me a nice strong fixing all the way around. So these shelves are going nowhere. They are really, really sturdy. So there you go. Just put it up. Put the first screw in. Just give it a little tap with the hammer. Okay, then once I had it in place, I just used my impact driver there just to nip it up and just get a nice good fixing there into that back wall. Okay, so the back wall there, I give it 2 fixings. This was just to get a nice solid fixing into that back wall. So I'm just drilling it again, and the same again, just a brown plug and a 4-inch screw. Okay, as you can see there as well, I got a piece of timber there just to prop the other end up, and I fixed that again into the back wall. And then I'm just checking it with the level, just make sure it's all exactly where I want it, and that was perfect. So the next shelf is ready to go on, and to do this, because again I was working alone, I didn't have anybody to hold it, so I built myself a little prop which just gave me the exact spacing, and because the bottom shelf was securely in place, it meant I didn't need to level the next shelf, because if I used the prop it would give me the exact same distance. Then yeah, essentially the second shelf would be just as level as the shelf below it. So I got the first fixing in here on the back wall again, and once that was done I could just remove the prop there and bring it down to the other end, just make sure that was down in place, and that just held the shelf exactly where it wanted to be, and I was able to again just drill another hole here at the other end to ensure that the shelf was completely level. And you know, we know that the shelf below is level, therefore this shelf's also going to be level, so that was nice and easy. And then we just did the same again with the third shelf. Again, I just used the prop and moved the level up as well, the laser level up as well, and you can see there the finished job where it's all fixed up nicely. So once I'd done this side, I did the other side. There's no point showing you how I did that because it was exactly the same process, but just on the other side. I leveled it across with the laser level. I also used a 6-foot level just to double check it. And then I added in these middle bits to create like a U-shaped shelf. And these were just fixed through the back of the other shelves into this shelf. And I also fixed into the wall, again with brown plugs and 4-inch screws. And then you can see I've done exactly the same on the 2 levels below that, and these were perfectly level. You can see my level on it. I don't think you can actually see the bubble, but these were bang on. So for the tops of the shelves I used 1/2-inch plywood, and I used this McAllister circular saw, which I actually bought this off Amazon, and I think it was around £35. It was really, really cheap because my circular saw had bust recently, and I have to say I was really actually quite impressed with it. It did the job. I mean, I wouldn't take it on a building site. I don't think it'd last very long, and it's 240 volt. But you know, for little DIY jobs, it was really good. So I'll actually leave a link in the description in case you want to check that out. So the sheets of ply, I managed to get almost exactly 5 shelf tops out of these. You can see the waste there was just on the floor, that really tiny little bit. That's all of the waste that I had on these, because they were 1500 by 400. So it worked out pretty close on a board. Now to fix these down, I just used 1.5-inch wood screws. Very simple, just used the impact driver there just to screw these down. Obviously you don't want to see me screwing the whole shelving down, but very simple. And then once I had that done, it was just a case of adding these supports in. You can see just behind me, I'm just stood in the way of it now. But basically just on the corner of each shelf, there's no support. I mean, you can just see that I was lifting up a tiny bit. It was very close because the timbers were nice and straight. But there you go. You see, I just used these props, and that was it. I just fixed them in place. They were just floor to ceiling, and you can see now this is the finished job. All the stuff's in there, looking really nice and tidy. And if you did see the previous video, I actually showed how bad this shed was originally. It was a real mess. So yeah, go back and watch that if you want to see it. You can actually see there behind the bikes, that's the waste that we had from 2 sheets. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.